heavy. There's not a pen in here.
Oh,
But
do you
there's
need a
a
pen? I
notebook.
left my other
No.
one in there. And I have one in my, I think I have one in here. Do you need one? Do you need one?
Let's see. Put it back so I don't have to clean it up later.
Do I need it?
No.
Good. Welcome, everyone. We are ready and excited to start this meeting. I guess I didn't gavel the gavel. We're going to have a reverence by Julie Taylor, our board member, and then a flag salute, Pledge of Allegiance by Heidi Jo West. And then we will turn some time over to Jamie Kent, for our Public Information Officer, for some recognitions.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this blessing and opportunity we have to live in this country and for the freedoms that we enjoy. We're so grateful for this past weekend of celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding and recognize the great men and women who sacrificed so much and gave so much so we can have the freedoms that we enjoy today. We're grateful for the time and energy that the students and parents and teachers and staff and administrators put in our district to help students progress and reach their goals and to contribute to this great society that we have. We are grateful for the opportunities we have to learn and grow. We're thankful for the guidance that we can receive and the opportunity to collaborate and to learn from each other and from others. We pray that we can listen and learn and pray that we can have clear minds and recognize the good things that are happening and also the areas in which we can do better and be better to help serve those students and stakeholders in our community. We pray that thy Spirit will be here this night, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please stand and join me in the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is Sarah Pace, and she just recently achieved a very distinguished honor. So she was chosen as the top Sterling Scholar for the KSL Deseret News Sterling Scholar, and she was for science. So some people may not have a background as to how this works, but each school selects so many, and then they go and they compete against other students in the state, and there's multiple competitions. And she went all the way up to the top, and she won the top General Sterling Scholar. And so this is a very high achieving award. It's pretty awesome. So we wanted to celebrate that. And also in the meantime, while this was going on, she went to the Ritchie Science Fair, and she was able to go to the Science and Engineering Fair, which is that's like another level onto that one. And this is a very, it's the largest international pre-college science competition. And so she got to go compete there. We also interviewed her in one of our videos where we talked to some of our seniors, and they told us what they wanted to do after graduation. And so I'm going to kind of put her on the spot. She's been very involved in her high school. She was on madrigals. She did some drama and theater. She's a great public speaker. So I'm going to have her tell you what her plans are, because in the video I was just impressed with what she said.
So I actually, starting in this summer, I have been offered an internship at Utah State University. I'm currently working with a professor in the Plant, Soils, and Climate Department, helping him with some of his research that he's doing. And in the fall, I will start as a student at USU. I will be studying 2 majors in plant science research and as well as in physics. And I hope to pursue graduate studies in the field of plant science research. And my end goal really is I want to work with NASA to study astrobotany, which is the study of how plants grow in space. So eventually I hope to work with research on the International Space Station with plants, as well as hopefully one day putting plants on Mars. And so that's kind of my end goal. And I just wanted to mention about the Sterling Scholar thing. So there's 14 different categories that they have, and they're things like science, family and consumer sciences, there's like dance for one, and math, and they take the winners from each of these categories and they send just their portfolios to a set of judges and judge them all against each other and choose one winner who they feel could have succeeded in a lot of areas, and that's the award that I was able to win for the Wasatch Front region of Utah, and so it hasn't been accomplished by anyone in the Box Elder School District before, and so that was one of the, that's the huge accomplishment.
She has taken advantage of a lot of opportunities that she's had in school, and she's really prepared herself, and she's got a great future ahead of her. What we'll have you do is go and shake all their hands, and then we'll have you stand in front and we'll get a picture.
Can I ask one question first? Yes. Is like after, since you won that, the Wasatch one, does it go on or is that the end of this?
That's just kind of the end of it. They have 4 regions in Utah, and so they're like, these students have competed enough, we're not going to pit them against each other. But in our region, there was, I believe, 1,400 Sterling Scholars that competed. So,
Wow.
It's amazing. So like every high school sends like 10 or 12 to 14.
One in each
If
category.
they have somebody in every category, sometimes they don't have people apply in some of the categories, so.
Incredible.
It's a lot of students. She went really far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Yes.
So exciting, congratulations.
Thanks for being here.
Well done. Congrats. That's so amazing.
Just amazing. The shoes were like the least.
How did you guys do a really good picture take?
Push those back and.
Right in.
It's fine. We'll just have you stand right up.
Tall enough to- I know.
I'm not very tall. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sorry.
I am truly in awe. Well done. You're welcome to stay as long as you would like, or you are welcome to leave as soon as you would like. It's totally up to you. All right, we are going to move on to E, the approval of our agenda.
I move to approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll second.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Second.
Oh,
I
Brian.
thought you said do we have a motion?
Sorry, yes, we have a motion and a second, so let's move. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We are to our public comment portion of the meeting. The floor is open at this time for any resident of Box Elder County or staff members to address the Board of Education on items pertaining to education and the operation of the school district. Participants will be given the opportunity to address the board in the order which they have signed up. Patrons must state their name prior to making comments. Individual comments during this segment of the meeting are restricted to a maximum of 3 minutes. Handouts may be used and distributed, and if they are, each member of the board and district staff should receive a copy of that handout. The board will not take final action or have discussion on items presented during public comment unless the item is already on the meeting agenda. If additional studies needed to respond adequately to the questions or comments, the resident may receive a written response. The written response may be read publicly at the next regular meeting of the board. Due to the rights of privacy of employees of the district, the Board of Education will not allow public comments on specific employee appointments, employment, or performance at this time. Questions and complaints or charges against particular employees are to be referred to the superintendent for action consistent with the law and/or district policy. And Mr. Solholt.
Before we get started, I'm just wondering, is this important? I don't know if this is on or not.
It's not if that's sitting on top.
Okay.
So, but you're still gonna be recorded and you have a decent enough voice to project, so.
Okay.
I think you'll be fine.
The amount of misinformation dealt out by the school board at the last meeting is astounding. One statement from your February 25th, 2026 working session stood out to me. During that meeting, this board acknowledged that it had lost the public's trust. And yet, despite this and overwhelming evidence to the contrary, this board continues to act as though the public supports your decisions. The facts tell a different story. Last month, you argued that the no vote in the 2024 bond election wasn't representative because not everyone voted down the ballot. But the numbers tell a different story. Nearly 70% of those who voted on the bond rejected it. Even when compared to all ballots cast in the election, the opposition still represented well over 60% of registered voters, not just those who voted. When divided evenly across the school board districts, more people voted against the bond than voted for each of you. Then came the 37% property tax increase. Hundreds of residents spoke against it, and more than 7,000 citizens signed a petition so the public, not just this board, could decide the issue. Yet you dismissed that effort as being insufficient evidence of public opinion. Let's review the evidence. More than 60% of registered voters voted against the bond. Hundreds publicly opposed the tax increase, and more than 7,000 citizens signed a petition requesting a public vote. Rather than letting the voters decide, the board chose a more expensive lease purchase agreement. Now, even though the financing doesn't require the full 37% tax increase, the tentative budget keeps the entire increase in place while also reducing the capital fund instead of proposing tax relief or saving up. If this spending is truly unavoidable, I have to wonder what this budget would look like had citizens not gathered enough signatures to force a vote on the lease revenue bond. One school board member expressed that she felt extorted. That is exactly how the public felt after voting no on the bond. If you do not do what we want you to do, the outcome will be worse. And to those who question whether 7,000 signatures were meaningful, I'd like to offer a challenge. I invite this board to gather signatures from 20% of registered voters in just 30 days, in the middle of the winter and during the holiday season. I highly doubt you could garner such support. Finally, the board approved spending approximately $500,000 to install artificial turf on a softball field. We've been told it will save money, but the math doesn't seem to support that claim. If the expected maintenance savings are about $20,000 per year, it would take roughly 25 years to recover the cost. Yet artificial turf used for athletics is typically expected to last only 10 to 12 years before replacement. In other words, the field would likely need to be replaced 2 times before taxpayers break even. You acknowledge the public's trust has been lost. Trust is rebuilt by following the evidence, exercising fiscal discipline, and allowing the people, not assumptions, to guide major financial decisions. I hope this board chooses that path in the future, but I'm not holding my breath.
All right, thank you. Moving on to action items. So that is G1, the approval of the Sex Education Committee. Mr. Wiley.
I just have to speak loud, right, Robert?
Yeah.
Good.
Just not gonna be amplified in the room. She'll be fine.
That's because I got a good loud voice. I'm Ben Wiley. I'm over sex ed here in our sex ed curriculum here in our district. Every year by state statute, I need to come before the board and ask that you approve a sex education curriculum material review committee. And you guys, you can see that on your screens. We actually have a district policy, policy 4105, and in that, in section G, it talks about that our school board needs to approve a committee, and the components of this committee are parents, healthcare professionals, school health educators, and administrators. And the purpose of this committee is to meet to determine any new, potentially new curriculum that someone might have. I can give you an example. Last year, even though we had this committee, the committee never saw or reviewed any new material because none was ever brought before us as a committee to be taught. Our educators teach what has been approved by the state, and there were no other additional attempts, I guess, or requests to add any curriculum. And so that is what I'm I guess requesting is a motion to approve this committee. You can see the list there. And all of our, either whether they're parents or they're administrators or healthcare professionals, these are almost exactly the same committee that we had last year. I shouldn't say several, a few of the committee members either got new assignments, AKA our superintendent was on the committee. He is no longer on that committee. AJ Gilmore, who will be sitting in that chair in the future, is now on the committee. That's just one example of a change. Are there any questions by the board?
When was the last time the committee met?
I cannot speak to that because I only received this opportunity last year, and we did not meet at all last year. Before that,
it was a year ago spring when we did maturation approval. So that was the last time we had something come before us.
thank you. Great question.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the following members to serve on the 2026-2027 Box Elder School District Sex Education Curriculum Materials Review Committee per the guidelines of District Policy 4105.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Wiley.
I'll just stay up here because I'm substituting for Megan Bushnell. She would do a much better job than I'm going to do, but she has other response. I believe she's next on the agenda.
Yes, H1, we're moving on to information items.
Yes. You'll see the difference between someone who likes color and someone who doesn't like color really quickly in these presentations. Mine was black and white. I don't see orange and red very well. So these are some of our data Megan Bushnell has pulled. You can see on her first slide, those are the district data that we have in Educator's Handbook, also known as EH, commonly known as EH. You can see that our minor offenses are down, and so are our office referrals. And some of that will be explained in just a few slides, 4 slides, I think, to be specific. Even though there were 5,000 office referrals, next slide, only 3% of those actually were classified as bullying and harassment, and that's out of the office referrals. If you look at the full 12,000 from minor and office referrals, bullying and harassment represents 1.2% of all the referrals to our admin in 2025, which are in 2025-26 year, which is down from the previous year, which was 3.4%.
An office referral could be for anything.
That's correct. It's usually I'd say an aggravated, but it's an elevated referral because there can be minor offenses that teachers deal with in their classroom multiple times before it elevates to an office referral. But yes, an office referral can be for anything, not just like harassment and bullying. Absolutely. Great question. Megan dove into the data and she broke down those incidences that were in Educator Handbook. And there you can see those are the breakouts for all the different harassments and bullying, and they are all broken out that way so that administrators can label the harassment properly, if that makes sense. And that there is a huge reason for that, not just to make sure we identify it and properly take care of it, but the state also on several reports that Megan fills out needs to know these exact numbers. And ABO is on a basis of, so that's what that means. The next slide, Megan broke out by school, so you could actually see if you'll hover over you can see on the bar graph, but if you can't, never mind. On my computer, when you hover over those cool little bars, you could actually, it'll tell you the exact percentage. You can see that there are elementaries are doing a really good job of staying low, and the next slide I will kind of go into depth as to why that is. Perfect. So the next steps for student services that Megan wants to focus on, and I'll point out number 2 she's done a really good job of training staff and admin to accurately report what is harassment and what is bullying. And that is very important that we can identify it so that we can take care of it properly. Two, elementary schools really do have a tier 1 component for dealing with bullying and harassment. She would like to improve that and continue to improve, not just improve that make it more holistic. We are going to start what's called mascot, and our elementary counselors are going to help bring that online. That way, those incidences that are happening in elementary have a more holistic approach to dealing with the harassment rather than just a penalty or a punishment, if that makes sense.
Mascot skills?
Mascot is an acronym, and I'm sure one of you is going to ask what that stands for, and that's where I'm going to be like, this is where Megan would be much better at this presentation than me. But I will make sure that she gets that information out to you so that you are all in the know. It is a program that we have purchased. Oh, nope, sorry. Megan, I know this because me and Megan share a secretary. She has already started scheduling her administrative visits with all of her elementary schools. She tries to hit all of them 3, if not 4 times if her schedule allows, and that's just for observations. That has nothing to do with an actual referral or an issue or a safe school finding. Those are appointments or visits that she has so that she can visit with counselors and admin just looking at educator handbook data, and so that she can have an open conversation and try and improve things. Number 4, me and her are working, because I'm over secondary counselors. We do not currently have the tier 1 component like elementary have in our secondary schools. There are some bright, shiny moments. As far as a complete and total tier 1, we are working towards that with 7 mindsets. And that is a focus of our counselor training this coming August. And finally, work to implement a contact consultant plan if that's possible in the coming year. We've got some pretty lofty goals, so we'll see if we get that far. That is our report. That's Megan's report. Any questions?
I do. Sorry. I have a question. In the graph part, and I don't remember.
Yes, go ahead. Back to the graph. Yep.
In the graph,
Yes.
it seems very interesting. I mean, I'm just curious with Box Elder Middle School and Bear River Middle School, there's a huge difference there. Is that because they report it differently? I can't imagine it being that much different.
That's a great question. There are, having been in schools in the trenches, you'd be surprised how there are ebbs and flows. One year, same admin, same teachers, you could have a class move in, and at the start of the year, you'll have a massive amount of vapes, which are office referrals. And yet you can have the very next year, there's hardly any vapes. And so I wish there was rhyme and reason to say, oh, there's a reason why there's more in that school than that. But it's just a difference in student body. The admin have been trained to report what the issue is accurately. So those numbers are truly accurate. So,
Won't you have 300 or 400 more kids at Box Elder Middle School?
yes,
Is that right?
yeah.
They're bigger schools. I mean, that doesn't, the ratio's still not the same for that many more kids, but it does account for some of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Ben? All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you stepping in for Megan. We love Megan and hope everything is well, and thank you. We are going to move to H2, our monthly financial report from our business administrator. Liam.
Thank you. This time of year is kind of the doldrums of my office. a lot of compliance work's going on. We're updating the budgets that were passed last board meeting into our financial system. It's a significant amount of work. We have about 25,000 different accounting lines. We ask why so many accounting lines? Well, that's because we have so many account code combinations required by the state board. So process of updating those budgets. We're also in the process of closing out the fiscal year. So this time of year, we're working on posting payroll for the last two pay periods of the year. So for the district office staff, we are paid on a fiscal year, whereas for teachers, their contracts run from August 15th thereabouts through the end of July. So, but they're paid they work out 9 months, but they're paid on a 12-month contract. So that last pay period, the last check they received actually belongs in the prior fiscal year. So we're working on accounting for all these expenses. In addition, making sure all of our debts are charged for services that we incur are put in the fiscal year. Additionally, we have to report our budgets passed by the board by this Friday to the State Board of Education. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing to begin a new fiscal year. So there's not much new in this fiscal financial report here, other than to say that we're on track for budgets. This report does not reflect the budget updates that the board passed last month because of the time it takes to get them inputted and reconciled and prepare these reports. So next month, we should have a better snapshot of the completeness of where we stand financially. As we go, if there's any lines you have questions on, I can answer those, but there's nothing really of significance here to report. In August, about August 17th, our audit starts. So Squire & Company will be here in the office for about a week. They will be going through our financial statements, our records, requesting samples for invoices and other compliance requirements. This year, the special education program will receive what we call a single audit. That means that the Department of Education has set forth requirements for that program and federally, and the auditor will be reviewing that program to make sure we fulfilled our compliance requirements, both fiscally and programmatically. Last year, Title I was selected for that audit, and they went through and sampled a few different program requirements. One of which is, are we transferring students appropriately between Title I schools or out of Title I schools? We have evidence that we're doing that. So do the same kind of work here, select programmatic requirements, sample them, and determine if we're compliant or not. Last year, we were compliant with our Title I program. I suspect we'll be compliant as well with our special ed program. I have no indications of any non-compliance that have been brought to my attention. So we'll be working that process starting in August. It's going to go through October 1 is when we have to have the financial report submitted to USBE. Then the auditors will work on preparing any audit findings programmatically for the Single Audit Act, and that is due by November 30th. So in December, we'll have a complete snapshot of all our activities, both programmatically and fiscally, to report to the board in December. So this is just kind of a holding period till we can gather all the information, have it properly accounted for, and summarized in report format. Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving to H3, our board committee reports. Does anyone have anything to report from your committee assignments that you have?
We had the Boys and Girls Club fundraiser and dinner, and they asked me to express their gratitude for the district supplying items for that fundraiser. They held it at their new facility here on their campus. It was great. It was very well attended, and so just appreciate the work that they do and their partnership with us as a district.
Any others? I heard that it was a huge success from some people that went, so thank you for...
Yeah, it really was, and it was nice to have it in that new facility. I think that that new campus is going to work out well.
Good, good. So glad to hear that. Any other reports from committees? All right, we will move to page 4. 4, thank you, employee appreciation, and Heidi Jo's going to talk to us about that.
Okay, I just wanted to explain this a little bit so that you would have a context. In lieu of the monthly ESP and Teacher of the Month recognitions, I just thought it would be nice to put on here some of our high achieving teachers as far as student academic achievement on the state assessments. So the first one has every teacher in the district from kindergarten through 3rd grade that had more than 90% of their students scoring proficient on the Acadience benchmark at the end of the year. The ones with an asterisk are the teachers that had 100%. So we had quite a few teachers with 100% of their students on grade level. The second sheet is those teachers that had 90% of their students reached high pathways of progress. So that means they made typical, above typical, or well above typical progress for what was expected for the student. Again, the asterisk means that they were at 100% of typical or above for pathways of progress. Again, that's K3. The very last one, and on those two, the state is somewhere around 70% for their proficiency, so that's a good 20 to 30% above what the state average is. Then the last sheet is all teachers from 3rd grade through 8th grade that had more than 70% of their students proficient on RISE, ELA, math, and science, and there's an asterisk if it was above 80%. And so those are really, again, state average is about 45% on RISE, 42 in some subtests. So really good results and a good opportunity if you see some of those teachers to just commend them and let them know what a great job they're doing and just get their names out there. We're probably going to try to have this put on our social media too, just so
Absolutely.
that parents can recognize
Heidi
them.
Jo, will you do me a favor? And I don't know, I'm looking, trying to see down the line, and Julie's got it on hers, but mine wouldn't.
I had to
pull up.
refresh, and then it pulled up.
I also,
refreshed my
the
browser.
reason why is because I deleted it and updated it. We had the wrong name for one
Okay.
individual, and I was texting
There we go. Okay.
and saying, wait a minute, that person teaches first grade now. They can't be on there. And so it was first name, wrong first name, right last name. So we got it updated. Just
Got
barely.
it. Thank you so
But
much.
we will get that out on our social media so that those individual teachers that have worked so hard can hear some appreciation.
Awesome. Thank
Just
you.
curious, on some of those names like Trisha Day and Tiffany Roach, they are a dual immersion, so when it has their name, is that both classes or is it their specific class?
Yeah, what Mr. Morris tries to do is he tries to put it on their, well, it could be their specific class, but I thought usually we go through, and I'm not sure because we were trying to get this out today. We started on it a couple weeks ago and we were waiting for the data to be cleaned up, so he rushed it pretty quick. Usually what he'll do is put the person that teaches that subject. So you'll notice that Trisha Day and Tiffany Roach both are the English side, but they likely teach the math, is what I'm guessing. So
I don't know. I don't go to the class.
yeah. So that's what he tries to do. Okay.
When you put it on social media, will you add their schools?
Yeah, and their grade level maybe too. Okay, I'll have him update that.
I think it's interesting that, I mean, that's a name, but that name has 20 to 25 kids in that group. And you start doing that math, and I mean, that's an awesome list, and
Yeah, it is.
it's even awesome for our students to have that kind of accomplishment. So.
Thank you for bringing that to us. That is amazing, and they should be recognized, so thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Moving forward, we're going to letter I, our policy review. We do not have, this is probably the only month of the whole year that we don't have first readings, but we do have 4 on second reading, so. I would take a
I
motion.
make a motion that we pass the policies on second reading.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, moving forward to the consent items. Letter J.
I make a motion we pass consent items.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. We are now looking forward to K, on to K, suggestions for future board meetings. I made quite a little list from our discussion in our work session. Is there anything anyone wants to add to that list right now, or?
Did you add the naming in September?
Yes.
Of the new
Yes.
mountain school? Okay.
Yes. Good. Any others that you can think of? All right. We now.
Could I just ask?
Yes, please.
Heidi Jo, it does say an early literacy plan, potentially for Ashley.
The state repealed that with 241.
That's what I thought.
Last year, they made it just an early math or numeracy, and then this year they've completely.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
So that's something that was on there just because it's on there yearly, but
Annually.
now they don't.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, good.
In August, we'll probably discuss names in a work session.
I think by August, it'll be put out to the community for ideas and come back in September.
September.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I understood our discussion to.
Can we bump it up? Like, is there,
Want to?
why are we waiting till September just because that's the last? Why would we be waiting till September, not just do it in August?
I'm fine with, that's just what was discussed in there, but I'm totally fine to change it, whatever.
Is 1 month not enough turnaround time for you guys to put stuff out and receive stuff back?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that?
I do worry about July being somewhat of a, people do go out of town vacation, 24th of July weekends. It feels like maybe we just need a little bit more. I think we certainly will be ready by September 1, but I think just having a little extra time to get families kind of back into school mode, I think would help us. Thank you, Stephanie.
I agree. I think that if we give it a little bit of time after school starts, people might be thinking more about that and get a little bit more response.
Thank you for those comments. Anything else?
Just maybe more work on our strategic plan. Maybe some informational. We'll have more information. We can break it down into different stakeholders, and have some additional information. And the District Leadership Council will continue to work on breaking that down. I think that would be just an informational item at that point, and maybe ongoing for a little bit here until we get things where we'd like them to be.
I think that should be on work session for every month, probably.
Yeah. That's actually good.
Okay. Any other thoughts on agenda? Okay.
Do we need, well, I guess it will come up when we'll have to approve a contract for the audit next month.
Oh, for the external audit of the district
office?
That's
Do we have to?
No, we can
It's below-
take care,
it's
our
below
policies
the-
allow us to take care of
okay.
that internally or administratively.
Okay, all right.
Neil, we thought maybe by August we would have an internal auditor maybe selected or brought for approval, maybe?
So that's one of my to-do items along with all my other financial responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I'll work to bring something ready for next month.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we go into closed session for the sale or lease of real property.
I'll second.
Okay, we need a roll call vote. We have a motion and a second. We'll start with you, Karen.
Karen Cronin, yes.
Wade Hyde, yes.
Julie Taylor, yes.
Tiffany Summers, yes.
Danielle Wright, yes.
Ryan Smith, yes.
Stephanie D. Phillips, yes.
Thank you. We will adjourn from that closed session. We will not be back into this room for open session. Is this everything?
No.
I just
I told you. Get you in bed early.
I know. I won't take